Palace fans, what's going on? It's another version of Palace News. This time, it's done by myself, T, and my man AJ. Guys, we got some things to talk about today. Some fun stuff, some interesting things, some things that could be coming to fruition on the good side. Hopefully, things that might not come on the other side. But before we get started, shout out to everybody that was waiting for the live stream to start. Appreciate everybody queuing in early. And shout out to everybody that's going to be joining us. Shout out to AJ for joining me today, and to D for, of course, keeping things moving in the right direction for everything that is back in the nest, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. For anybody that's tuning in, taking part, we appreciate that type of love, man. So a few different topics we're going to get into. One of them that's actually, I feel like, is literally breaking news that we just heard about now. But before we get going, I'll just tap in with you, AJ. How's everything going, man?
Good, man. I've just been very, very busy. I had a bit of time off work, had a bit of chill time. Nothing was really going on, to be fair. So it is what it is. But I'll be honest, I had a nice little lazy holiday. I didn't go anywhere. Just caught up in the PlayStation vibes. Me and CX had a very
staycation.
Yeah, mate. Me and CX had a very good relationship. Just had a bit of time off with family, and video games and sleeping in. I do recommend it.
Hey man, sometimes you gotta recharge the battery, man. And I fully understand. So right on, man, right on. So first of all, shout out to everybody that's tuned in. I see Alexander Kinlock in there. I see Chloe, Red Bull A2, Kyle Peters, Warren Fossey. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Big up, Alexander, man. How you doing, man? Much love. Chloe, how are you? Good to see you. Red Bull says glad about this potential signing. Yeah, I mean, what we're about to talk about. I think the phrase that comes to mind for me for some of the things that we've heard about and some of the things we're doing is shrewd business. But we'll talk about that in just a second. But getting going on the first topic. So this is kind of a changing and developing one. But Borna Sosa has been undergoing his medical testing. He's going to be signing a contract with us for 3 years until 2028. That was originally reported by Inan Johan, which is an Ajax reporter. Okay, but then in the last few minutes here, it was then reported by Anthony Joseph that Borna Sosa has completed the medical in London today, and it'll be a £3 million move. And it was correct that he will be signing a 3-year deal, and we'll actually see Crystal Palace will actually hold an option to extend for a further year. So it's a 3+1 deal, sounds like, where we have the option of going all the way to 4 years there with things. So bringing in depth on the left-hand side to help, Tariq out and give him not only some competition but also some support in depth. It's a low-cost signing for a European international left back, left winger. I know he plays both left mid, left wing, left back. AJ, what's your initial thoughts on this type of move for the club at this point?
It's good. I know Juve was the hot name that was previous, but
yeah,
I have no issues with the name. I have no issues with the player. He's got a good assist record. He's not scared to whip it in the box and create chances. And I think with a striker like Mateta and I guess any sort of pending attackers that we've got sort of coming in, I think he'll be a good addition to the team. I think we've pined for a full left back depth for so long, and Paul Mitchell's had to play week in, week out for the X amount of years. I think another way you've got to also look at it as well is bear in mind, no matter what happens tomorrow or potentially tomorrow, we're going to be looking at some kind of European concept or some sort of European competition as well. We could be playing up to 50 odd games next season. you're going to burn out Mitchell doing that, to be fair. It'd be good for his experience and his development. But I think a little bit of help is needed. And let's be honest, the thing is, if we do manage to bring in a few players, develop our squad depth, and build the team on a very cheap budget, even though, I do want us to go out and, especially if the, UEFA goes our way, I do want us to go out and spend a bit of money. But you got to look at the value. You got to look at what he's going to bring to the team. You got to look at the experience. We're talking about a player that's played at Ajax, Stuttgart. I believe it was Torino. He was on loan at as well.
Yep.
He's got an excellent output. And I think the reason why it might potentially in the long term be a better option than Juve is because it's not going to stumble Mitchell's growth too much. I think it's an opportunity for him to have a bit of competition. And I think it's an opportunity to get a player that has got European pedigree, because the clubs that he's played at previously have got that European experience, as well as obviously that experience in those leagues in Europe as well. I like it. The more I've sort of looked at Sosa and I've kind of looked at the stats, I'll be honest, when the name first got mentioned to me, I'll be honest, I didn't know who he was. I'm not going to pretend I know about every player in every league in the world. I know my fair share of football, but for what he is and for what the numbers are, I like it. I think it's a good start. Well, Benitez was the start, and you can obviously see that the club is going in the right direction in terms of creating depth all around the pitch, and that's all we can ask for. I think there's definitely a lot more work to be done, and I think if we do get European football officially announced in the next couple of days, then I think there's definitely a few more bits we need to do, because when you sort of look at the more sort of European competent teams and the European based teams, there are a lot more options and a lot more squad structure in terms of what they got going into the normal seasons. And I think we need to continue on the path we're going in terms of the targets and the players that we're going for. I like him. I feel like he's going to be a really good option. And I feel like not only will we give Mitchell a run for his money, but he will be a competent replacement should we need to rest Mitchell for whatever said games.
All great points. I think the one that I kind of want to highlight that you mentioned was the piece about Juve. I think it was kind of twofold with that. Number one, it seemed like they were really playing hardball with the price. It seemed like they wanted a pretty significant amount for him. And he's a younger player. I mean, he's only around like 20 years old at this point. But to go out and get a younger player like that and pay that type of money, then it kind of brings up the idea of, hey, are we looking to replace Tariq because of the outlay and the output that you put out for a kid like that? In comparison to a move like this, we know what this is. It's understood what this is. We're going out and we're getting a very capable player, but we're getting him at a very affordable price with the understanding that he's going to come in similar to how Ben Chilwell came in on loan late. He's coming in to provide quality depth, to push Tariq in the squad, and to give us a viable option in the event that rest or injury takes place. So,
but then see, that's the thing with Sosa. He's a Croatian international. Like, he's not bum. Like, he's not a
he's a legitimate player.
27,
he's a legitimate player.
He is not as I guess the term you guys would use more on that side of the world, is he's not a scrub.
No, not at all.
As a famous Stephen A. Smith would say, he's not a scrub. He's not coming here to just sort of hold bench for a minute. I feel like not only will he come into the team with the experience and be able to integrate into the team, he is a player with international experience, European experience, and experience around some of the best leagues in the world. So we're not talking about no average guy. I think the price is fantastic. Yeah. Especially with because, even if we bought that without the European element and without the, I guess, recent success that we've had, we would get a lot more. I feel like we're getting the best out of this deal. I don't know if it was from Doogie's Black Book. I don't know if it just happened to pop up on the desk, but I like this
because we have been connected with him before. and this was back in the Hodgson era, but his name did come up in transfer talks. This was prior to him going to Ajax. This is when he was still with Stuttgart. But
And I believe he also can play on the other fullback area as well. So he actually,
and he can also play winger.
Left foot, he can
He's
play
actually
on a wing. Exactly.
yeah,
So
he's
with the
actually
wing back
played
options
like
that we use, if we're going to go ahead and do that next season, he can assimilate. Oh, no, I guess assimilate's a big word. He can also integrate into that type of system as well. I feel like he's got a lot more to his game than people actually realize. I think if you're not being objective and look at the actual, forget the amount that he paid for him, look at the experience, look at the numbers, look at I think there's a good player here. And for the price that we're paying, you know what? I'll be honest. Me personally, I have been impatient, and I feel like the Europa League stuff, dragging, and the excitement of coming down from last season again into this season. Me personally, I've been impatient. I've been sort of sitting there waiting for the new kits. I've been sitting there waiting for the new players. Hey, listen, I'm guilty. I can't lie.
That's what excitement does
in the
for
way I
you, though.
operate.
That's what excitement, anticipation does for you.
I want the club to progress, and I want the club to progress in the right direction. So I've been excited to sort of see, because remember, subject to what happens tomorrow, changes the dynamic of what kind of player and what kind of caliber and what kind of budget we're operating with. But in the meantime, we've managed to get in Benitez, and it looks like pending Sosa. These are not two average players. These are two excellent players to add to our team.
Yep.
Reality of the situation is these players make our team better. And you're right. Bang on what you said. International quality. These are two international players. Benitez went and won the league with PSV last season. Sousa's done bits in Torino, Ajax, and Stuttgart. These are not average players. These are not. I find it quite fascinating because these aren't even, what's the word I'm looking for? These aren't even championship development players that Palace will traditionally go for. These are European established players. So I feel like the club is definitely on the trajectory of the right way in terms of the kind of players that we go for. Let's go for it, man. Let's embrace it.
And in thinking about this too, like when you're speaking about these two types of players, these archetypes of players with Benitez and with Sosa, like you said, these are players that have extensive experience playing first team football, extensive experience playing European caliber football. And they're at very, very fair prices. I mean, one of them being completely free. So there's definitely a strategy that we're seeing being put in place by our recruitment department, whoever that may be. We still don't know who's doing what back there, but along with Glasner and, of course, Parrish. But it seems like what they're trying to do is fill those gaps with experienced players that can come on club-friendly deals, that can be great rotations for us with Europe. And I mean, the thing is, I think you're able to bring in these types of players now because of having Europe in your pocket, so to speak, in our situation, of course, which competition could be still up for grabs. But the idea that for them, they understand coming into this that there's going to be more than enough opportunities to make appearances and get playing time, because they're not just playing in a domestic league and then maybe a few cups. They have now with us that 4 competitions that they'll be a part of.
I agree. I think I do want to see us. Me and Patrick used to speak about this a lot back in previous streams. I want Palace to compete for the League Cup. The FA Cup has obviously been succeeded and we've achieved that. But we want our team to take the domestic cup seriously. We do want to, now that we've got one over the line, trophy-wise, is it beyond the realms of possibility to potentially go for another one? Obviously, that's another conversation for another day. But
exactly,
while we're on, while the stock is high, why don't we cash in and make the most of it? We need to have a squad because we do know that, obviously, from my understanding, and obviously I know that's another subject for another day, but worst case scenario, whatever the outcome is of pending European politics, we're looking at European football regardless. Not that I'm a fan of that. And for those that aren't aware, in our group chat, there is a lot of potential debates in terms of what European competitions that we do want. But at the end of the day, European football is European football.
Definitely.
You know, I've never watched Palace play on a Thursday. Regardless of what happens, the fact that I'm able to go to a European game on a Thursday and watch Palace play, you know, a team from Azerbaijan or Bulgaria or Belarus or wherever it may be, or, you know, if I can potentially put together being able to travel to an Italy or a Spain on a Wednesday and come back on a Friday or whatever. These are beyond the realms of possibility that we've never had. You know, listen, man, my passport's about to get stamped, man. That's all I'm saying.
Hey,
so if anybody knows any good travel agents or, you know, knows their way around Europe in that way, they're saying, like, jump in my DMs, man. We'll sort something out.
I tell you what, just get on AI, man. ChatGPT can do everything that a travel agent can.
No, I will not conform. But that's enough. That's also another conversation for another day. But I won't conform to that.
Yeah, I've seen the fact that you don't do the whole AI thing.
Nah. Listen, I'm not on it. Maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'm not on it. But I've seen the Terminator. I know what's going on.
What's going on? Hey, well, before we move on to the next topic, guys, if you're tuning in right now, thank you. We appreciate it. Looks like we got around 60 some odd people in here. I'm seeing all kinds of faces. Shout out to Eagle Eye Football. I'm guessing that's my guy Rich. What's going on? Appreciate you being here. Tim, what's going on, man? Long time no speak. Hope you're doing good, my brother. Make sure you all like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget that. But if you all have any questions that you want to be discussed or answered between the chat, make sure you put your question. You put a Q and then your semicolon or your colon and then your question, so that we can highlight and save and come back to it at the end of the show to be able to talk about it, man. But moving on to the second topic, which we've talked about, you know, bringing someone in, but this one speaks more about the possible outgoing. This one, it says that Arsenal chief Berta is determined to get the Eze deal over the line, and they will try to convince Palace, who might consider accepting a promising defender as a part of the deal. While the player being considered as a make-weight in the deal is not known, he is an emerging star who played a handful of games for the first team, and that's from Rahman Usman. And then there was later an update that Josh Nichols is actually the young player for Arsenal, being thought of as a make-weight in the deal for Eberechi Eze. So it sounds like Arsenal has a lot of interest in Eze, and they're willing to throw in a young defender along with money to try to make it work. I saw some reports that they were looking to make like smaller chunk payments of like 20 million, maybe 3 chunk payments of 20 some odd million. What's your thoughts on this, AJ?
Right. I'm going to try and be as diplomatic as I possibly can. Arsenal, don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. Bro, I'm not on this installments thing, bro. This ain't Klarna. This ain't no pay as you go thing, bro. Either pay the release clause or, excuse my French, fuck off. Pay it. Arsenal, big boy Arsenal, that's got Champions League football constantly and got money to go spend on Gorkes and whatever, pay the 68 million, bro, or keep it moving. Don't try and give me no unknown Don from your academy who you played in the League Cup for 10 minutes. Like, respect me. Let me explain something to you, bro. If somebody knocks on my door and wants to buy my house, and I tell you the house costs 400 grand, big man, don't try come up to me and tell me I'll give you 300. Oh, and on top of that, I'll give you 50K every 6. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. Arsenal have done this before with Zaha, right?
I got a really nice bike.
Forget this, yeah. Instead, end up with Pepe because they wanted to come with the. We'll give you 20 million here, 20 million there. Listen, I'm gonna be a bit bougie about it. Big man, we're in Europe now. You know, we're not no dickhead club. You know, we got trophies now.
Yep.
Don't talk to me like I'm some side man. Pay the money or keep it moving. That's it. That is all I've got to say about Arsenal and Arsenal's process. Because when they're gonna go get Gorkes and Zubamendi and all these other dons, all of a sudden the money's nice. And Barter likes to do his whole little negotiating thing in the background. He's like, oh yeah, we'll go for 2 players. Listen, I'm be honest, bro. Don't think I ain't been watching Arsenal and Arsenal fan television and all the Arsenal content talking about the players that they're bringing through the door and all the rest of it. Listen, I'm surrounded by Arsenal fans, bro. My dad's side of the family are Arsenal fans, bro. Like, I know what's going on the street, bro, and I know how people are talking. Don't try and disrespect me. Like, do you know what's funny? I was in work the other day, right? And one of our colleagues said he's a Man United fan. He says to me, "Oh, and just give us Eze, man, and we'll swap it. Like it's me, by the way. Like my name's Steve Parish, right? Like I could just pick up the phone to Steve Parish and be like, hey, big man, let me sort the Eze deal for me. Yeah, just give us Eze and we'll give you Rashford. Listen, I'm gonna be a little bit disrespectful and direct. We're not dickhead Palace no more, you know. We're winning trophies and playing in Europe now, big man. Like, and even before that, we weren't getting bullied and like, let's be common sense, boy. Bro, we are a South London club. That means South London. You can't walk around South London and be chiefing up guys, bro. What makes you think you can do it with my football club? With your installments. Big man, save that for when you need to pay your direct debit. Apart from that, listen, don't even upset me. I'm not having it. Arsenal, pay the money, pay the full release clause. Put it this way. When Elise left, Bayern Munich played the release clause. And he kept it moving and he left. And now he's going to go on to be one of the best wingers in the world. Potentially a Ballon d'Or in there one day, hopefully. But the thing that's always pissed me off about these air quotes bigger clubs is they like to talk and they like to pat us on the head and treat us like we're dickheads. Nah, rude boy, not today. Pay the money or keep it moving. If you activate the release clause, there is nothing I can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing Steve Parish can do about that. Eze can go. He's already a club legend in my book in terms of what he's done for us, scoring that goal in the FA Cup final. And I will happily wave him on his way and the club will move on as we have done previously. But for me, I'm not picking up on any desires or any itching to leave. I'm not picking up on any sort of vibe that Eze is desperate to run through the door. But at the end of the day, if you want a quality player, bro, and one of our, what's the word I'm looking for? One of our top players in our team, then pay the money. And if you're not going to pay the money, go look for another attacking midfielder. On top of that as well, I'm hearing that they want to play him left midfielder and as an option, as an alternative option to Rodrigo. All that tells me is you don't watch Palace and you don't watch Eze. Because Eze is not a midfielder. He's not a left midfielder. He's not coming in to replace Martinelli. He's going in there to compete with the midfielders, Odegaard, Moreno, Zubimendi, these type of players. And that's not me saying that those players are better, but you're going to go give them the poor kid a headache. But those I don't want to repeat of Zaha going to Manchester United and then not being able to break into the team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on it. Like, I've always been a provider of, if I go into a shop and I want to buy something and they tell me that's a price, I've got one or two options. I pay the money, I purchase my items and I keep it moving, or I sit there and I think, you know what? The finances ain't looking correct for that right now. Let me go either look elsewhere or I'll come back when I got the money. It's one of the two, big man. Pay the money or keep it moving. That is it. Plain and simple.
Simple as that. There's a release clause there for a reason. If you like them, pay it. The thing that bothers me is, and I think this might be just a traditional sense of how things have been in the Premier League, is that a lot of these clubs are trying to negotiate with us based on traditional terms of who Crystal Palace has been in the past. And we're not that anymore. So talk to me nice. I need my money. Like, what's up? If you gonna come for these guys, come correct. You know, this isn't relegation scrap Crystal Palace anymore. Sorry, FA Cup champion, soon to be European participants. Like, talk to me nice. Like, I need somebody to show you. Hey, put what Birdman say? Put some respect on my name. All three of y'all.
Put some respect on my name.
All three of y'all.
Put some respect on it.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Like, and the thing is, also the thing that gets me is any team that's seen how we've negotiated our bigger transfers in the past, how things went with Bayern and Elise, they should know that's not how we get down. We're not taking those small installments. We want all ours up front. And we do a lot of things with our contracting and our negotiations and our release clauses to make sure that we get what's due to us up front. So I think they're just wasting their time. Similar, you know what? The way that Arsenal starting to act with this is similar to how Newcastle acted with Gahey and ended up with nothing. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, with the way that they're moving, I don't see that happening unless they pop up and just decide to pay what's due to us. So, but moving on to the next topic, Crystal Palace have inquired about Josh Acheampong on a season-long loan from Chelsea. 19-year-old defender. That was Mike McGrath that reported that earlier today. Now, I've watched the Acheampong kid play, and he's talented. He's got some talent. He's got some positional versatility. He could play a little bit of fullback. He can play in the center. He's only 19 years old. However, for all of you that may have Chelsea nightmares still, this sounds like another situation where Chelsea loans us a young kid. We make him a whole lot better, and they take him back and make money off of him. So with that being said, once again, that's not who we are anymore. Talk to me nice. Either we're gonna buy him outright, or we're gonna loan him with the purchase, with the purchase option or obligation. But it ain't gonna be no dry straight loans. I don't see that happening. What's your take on
it? I agree with this. The concept that he's a very talented young man, but also I'm not on it. I'm sick and tired of loaning these Chelsea players, and then they either sell them on for profit elsewhere, or there's no loan to buy option at the end of it. And you're right, this ain't Chelsea's development center, bro. Like, the thing is, right, we need to install the buyback, the line to the buy clause at the end of the season, or keep it moving, because I don't think he walks into the starting 11. I'm not having that. And if you're going to give Chelsea money, give them money for Calabria, because he's a more established player and he's actually got a little bit of. But are we loaning a player just a whole bench?
I wouldn't.
When we can go out there and buy, because let's pretend for a second, right? We go and get the targets and all the players we're linked for. Where does he fit in that scenario? Because even if Gay goes and we do get Diamonde, and then we potentially get Calabria, and then we do potentially get Sosa, where does he fit into this equation?
I saw somebody talk about on X that bringing in Acheampong on a loan would be nice, because then it would allow Riyadh to take his time in recovery.
Nah. Because we can go and get a player that actually wants to stay here and play for us.
Yep.
And
that's what I would rather do.
Chelsea's
that's what I would rather do,
bro. This isn't the Cobham Academy Development Center, because they want to try and nice up their PSR and nice up their financial fair play or whatever it may be. Over the years, you go Gallagher, you look at Chalobah, you look at Batshuayi. I'm pretty sure there's other players I've not even thought about.
Oh man,
I'm sick and tired of developing Chelsea's. I'm sick and tired of developing Chelsea's young players for them, because they got about 100 man pulling up like for pre-season training and all the rest of it.
Loftus. We did it with Loftus Cheek. We did it. We just Chalobah. I feel like Chalobah was the last straw for me because of the way in which it ended. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sick of it.
It was shaping up to be the same way that the others did, where he was playing so good that at the end of the loan, at the end of the season, he would go back to Chelsea and they would probably sell him, something like that. They went even a step further and cut it off midway through and took him back like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that took the very unforgivable sin of falling in love with Chalobah and Gallagher when we got him. You know, at the time, Gallagher was a god to me. And I saw him happily go to Chelsea and hold bench and then fight for his life over there. And now he's Atletico Madrid. That's not saying that his career's taken a nosedive. I mean, Atletico Madrid's an amazing
club.
But
without his loan to us, they would have never made that money. They would have
He
never
done
made that money.
Fantastic things. I was obsessed with Gallagher at Palace.
And the money that they
in that Vieira season,
for that transfer.
In that Vieira season, bro, anybody that was around me knew I was on the Gallagher gas tank.
Yep.
And then for it to just be like, I'm going to go back to Chelsea and do bits for them. And then he scored against us. Then eventually they got tired of him because Chelsea just like to recycle the shit out of players.
Yep.
I can't do it again, man. I'm sick of it. And I just don't think that if we do go out and get a loan player, are we going to waste it on a player that we're developing for Chelsea that may not even play week in, week out? I'm not saying he's incapable of it, but then let's say nothing changes right this second. It's Gay, Lacroix, Richards, right? Then let's pretend we get Diamonde. Then, Gay leaves, for example. You then got Diamonde, Lacroix, Richards. Obviously, Riyadh, I'm aware of that. You've got the Lerma option that can sit there. I feel like, if we do get one of these couple of players coming in, they're also going to be a defensive option on the bench as well.
And I think we'll add another center back too, along with.
I'm happy, but I'm not happy with it being him. I'm just sick and tired of the Chelsea loans, and I'm going to be a little bit bougie about it and say, big man, we're not on that no more, big boy.
Nope, that's not us.
Like you said, talk to me nice.
Talk to me nice. This feels like, to all my fellas out there, you had that girl that you really, really liked when you was younger. She was bad. She was the baddest chick when you were in secondary school. But now you got older. You still doing your thing. You fly. You got your nice job. You doing well for yourself. She done got heavy. She got about 3-4 kids. And now she want to give you some play.
To be fair, every woman in this world deserves a chance. So you can't do that. However, for the context of what you're saying, I see where you're going with this.
Hey, all I'm saying is today's price is not yesterday's price, sweetheart.
Like, we're buying BMWs now, babe. Like, we're not doing that. We're buying BMWs now, babe. We're not doing this.
I'm just saying. But
we're shopping in Harrods now. We don't do the sports directing.
Hey, we don't.
We're in Selfridges, B.
We
go Oxford Street. We go Marble Arch. Don't worry about all that.
So the last topic that we're gonna talk about before we get to the questions that we got a few questions too. And this is one of the things that actually also came up last minute. Is that looks like Palace are now stepping up their interest in Davide Calabria, the 28-year-old Italian right back, who's currently a free agent. I did some background research, man. It's kind of crazy. Like, so he's been at AC Milan since he was 8 years old. Came through the academy, made his debut with them at 18 years old, playing a full season along with Europe. Stayed with the club, became club captain. He went through multiple managers. One new manager comes in, all of a sudden, he gets stripped of his club captaincy, loses his playing time, and then he gets loaned out mid-year to Bologna this past season. Goes to Bologna, plays really, really well, actually beats AC Milan to win the cup in Italy. So got his little bit of sweet revenge, but now he's a free agent. Like, if a team, like similar to what we did with Jeff Schlupp, if a team loans you out in your contract year, is that like that's kind of crazy. It's like, you're not going back there. It's like, hey, go anywhere else. You're gonna be a free agent. So now
here's this.
you know, but he did really well. Ended up beating his parent club in the cup, which is amazing. I feel like that's the sweetest revenge you can get in a lot of ways.
Hey,
And he
Team Macron all the way, mate. Team Macron all the way. If you
actually
know,
had an
you know.
assist. Actually had an assist in the match too. But so it was reported by Sebastian Vidal that we're stepping up our interest in him. He seems that he could be a key addition for us ahead of our first ever European campaign. The deal could be finalized very soon. So this could be another player that once, like we talked about, European experience. He's played a lot of high level ball. Has been a club captain for one of the most highly recognized clubs in the world, and he's only 28, and we're getting him on the free. Like,
I think that kind of experience can't be ignored. And
it
if you got a
can't.
chance to get him for free, even if we end up paying him, I don't know, 100K a week. This is just hypothetical numbers. I think it'll probably be less than that. But for a player like that with that kind of experience, that would be willing to come to the club, why would you not take him?
Right.
You know, he he's he's been there, and what I mean by that is he's seen it all. Because for a player like that to be at AC Milan from 8 years old, he's seen Milan at their prime, he's seen Milan at their peak, he's seen Milan when they nosedives, he's seen Milan at their mediocrity. He's experienced it all with them. I know for a fact he's played for Italy a few times as well. So he's definitely once again got the international experience, and he's obviously seen and experienced European football as well. Yes, granted, I don't want us to run away from the buying the young, exciting championship players or young, excited youth players that you might have potentially not heard of. But for our first European campaign, I think we have to box a bit clever and get in a bit of experience in some areas, because we are essentially going where we haven't been before. We're walking into a completely different animal of a season next year, no matter how it plays out. So I think we have to box a bit clever. And if there's an opportunity to pick up the odd little free bargains here, I might expect him to come to the team and play 38 games a season. No. But if he's coming in and it's like, once again, Munoz might not be up to, might be gassed out a little bit, or we might rest him against. I don't think Munoz even runs out of energy, but there's potential games where it might be lesser opposition or European campaign related things, and he's got the experience in terms of seeing out a game. I have no objections to bringing him through the door. I think there's more to do, but he's a player I like. He is very experienced, and he's seen it, been there, and done it all. I'm all for it, man. We've never been linked with these kind of caliber of players before, so let's go for it, man. Why don't we sneak up the table a little bit as well?
And now we're talking about adding 3 defenders, or 2 defenders and three back end players. Let's say that 3 back end players that in positions where we need depth at all those positions, because our number 2 goalkeeper last year was a lone player. He's gone, of course, and we didn't have really true, legitimate depth at right and left wing back. So not only have we seriously addressed need as far as depth for those positions, but you brought in quality players at a ridiculous price. 3 European caliber players for $3 million is nuts.
Here's the thing as well, which I don't think a lot of people have spoken about. I feel like there's been a lot of because there's been so much other things going on around the club. I feel like nobody's spoke about this. But what's going to keep Glasner happy? What are we doing to match the manager's plans?
Yep.
Let's be honest. And I always big up Stan for this, because he was the first person to mention Glasner before I even knew he was a thing. With a manager with that kind of caliber and that kind of experience and that kind of mindset, you have to give him a team to work with. Yep. And I've got to be honest, I don't know if he's going to sit there and think, well, I want 100 million spent on my team, or I want 10 million spent on my team. I think with him, as long as you get the players he needs to fit his system, and show this man ambition, you've got to give the man the team to work with.
Yep.
You've got to show the man you're ambitious, because I feel like organically for the club to grow in the right direction, we've got to keep hold of this kind of manager and this kind of caliber of manager. We've got to keep him happy at the same time without bankrupting the club, because he's probably used to a financial standard and a standard which he's probably never had to encounter before. He's punched above his weight with the likes of, the Wolfsburgs and stuff like that, and obviously the Frankfurts. And he walked out the door as soon as he saw that the ship was sinking. We've got an excellent opportunity, man, to grow as a club with him organically. You have to back the manager to be able to get in that position.
Yep. And I think the thing that makes us different from what he experienced in Frankfurt is the fact that we're showing improving. We're standing behind him and we're showing the support. I mean, going out and getting the likes of guys like Maxence Lacroix, which he has experience with and has coached before, going out and getting a guy like Daichi Kamada, who he won the Europa League with, and now showing that we are dedicated to bolstering our club in the areas of need as far as depth, rotation, giving him options, giving him a fully equipped squad to have in training. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's being seen that we're doing what's necessary to hopefully appease him in that area, which is important. So hopefully, we'll see the Calabria move happen. Be very happy for that one, as far as adding depth. And then kind of what we talked about, I think then we may see that splashing of the cash in other places. You know what I'm saying? We're being a little bit more frugal and economic in adding the depth, but maybe you may see us, splash out a little bit more money on some important players. Maybe a Diamande in the event that we lose a Gay. It could be some other additions that we may make, but I would say I like the way that the window is going to this point, especially in comparison to other times. Even with these value buys, we're active in the market. We're making moves. We're moving. I think the one thing that sometimes we get frustrated with as Palace fans is the speed at which we move with these. We see so many clubs. It's like, hey, link with this guy, and it's like, oh, they're negotiating, personal terms done, team done, boom, and it's happened within a week or two. I feel like we're moving, I guess, to use a TI phrase, more expeditiously than we have in the past. So which is good too. So we're gonna get to look at a few more comments here before we get to the questions here.
Yeah, feel free to leave questions down. We'll try and answer as honest as we. Well, I'm a bit.
Hope you're right about us holding dry powder to go for a talent like Diamande. I would hope so. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know the Diamande. Like, here's my okay. Let's think about this. Okay, let's say that we end up not being able, or we end up not moving Gahey, and he stays and sees out the contract. Do you still add Diamande?
Good question.
Because
Yes.
it could get deep. It could get deep.
I would say yes, but at the same time, all I'm sitting there is thinking is 55 million euros. That's why it's so crucial for this European decision to be made. Because as far as I'm concerned, I feel like that is almost like the handbrake sitting on a lot of our transfer business and a lot of progression in what we're going to be doing in the summer, which has already delayed us. And I'm getting really annoyed because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I really don't want a summer like last year, where everything was getting done late, everyone was coming back late, you had all the Olympics, competitions. I think it's so key to get this European decision made, because that's the difference between buying a £20 million player and a £50 million player or a £40 million player.
Facts.
Because we are dealing with a different set of finances here. We're dealing with a different dynamic, and we're dealing with a different. Tim would probably be, ironically, the best person to answer this, but maybe an economic cycle. So, it makes such a difference. The amount of money you earn per game in gate receipts, prize money. If you win those games, it's a different set of prize money. Depending on where you get knocked out, that's a different set of prize money. You're looking at television rights. You're looking at exposure to different clubs around Europe. That's why it's so important to get this decision right by UEFA.
Here's my answer to that question, and I will say why. In the event that he stays and nothing comes to fruition with the moves that we're hearing about him, I'm still buying Diamande. Here's why. Number one, by bringing in Diamande, you have a player who's immensely talented, only 21 years old. That being said, all that being true, he's still going to have to adjust to playing in the Premier League, right? So with that, you don't have to rush him into starting for us. So you can keep your same back three that we started with and allow Diamande to find his way in there while also being able to play him in European competitions, because guess what? He knows that. He's played and knows. He knows that very well, and he plays in the back three, so he'll be fine there, I think. The other thing is that if Gahey stays around, Gahey may leave in January. We may sell him in January.
That's fair.
And if that happens, if we sell Gahey in January, guess what? Your replacement for him is already in the building, and we don't have to find ourselves
worst case scenario on the flip reverse side of things. He might have already gone elsewhere at this point.
Yeah, so at least at that point, we don't have to then try to dip into the same market and replace him in the same window that he's leaving us. You know what I mean? Because that can be tricky. So I personally would go ahead and do the Diamande deal, even in the event that Gahey stays, just because it gives us so much more foundational stability and puts us in a situation where we have a super, super talented player that's in position and ready to take over. Not to mention the fact that in the event that, Gahey leaves in January, Diamande slots in by January, Riyadh is now getting ready to come back. And so then you've got more depth there on your back line too. So I would be for that personally. So Tim says, I agree. I think you have to take the deal if it's there. I would be gutted for Richards if he's displaced. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's the one thing I wouldn't want to do. I wouldn't displace Richards just because he's done so much for us at this point. Number one.
No, I'm not having it. I'm gonna no. Listen. Those who are well versed in the back of the nest cycle of things will tend to know that there can oftentimes be a American bias or a bias to people of that said part of the world.
Talk about it.
I'm here to say we don't care. We don't care. Listen, I don't care. If we buy a player tomorrow in his bed and Eze gets benched, I'm buying him. I don't care. Like, you have to be a bit of a. This is the whole point. If the club is going to transition, and this is not me saying Richards is a bad player, do not get that misconstrued. My concept to this is, if there's an opportunity to put a player there that is giving Richards a run for his money and is keeping Richards out of the team, with Richards in exceptional form, then why would I be against that? And that could even work on Lacroix. That could even work on Gahey if he stayed. I don't care. I don't care who is.
The best man should play is what you're saying.
The best man plays, bro. I don't care what nationality he is. I do not care.
I agree. I agree with that. The best guy should play. I just think the best thing for us in that situation is the fact that we don't have to play Diamande if he's not ready to play right away. You know what I mean? Which is good. I mean, because the back three that will be there intact with Gahey staying is one that won us the FA Cup, that got us to where we are right now. You know what I'm saying? So, and we can talk about a lot of things we want. People can say, we're playing in Europe now. It's not the same for Richards. What are you talking about?
But then
a lot of the teams that we're playing in Europe aren't going to be as good as the teams we play every week in the Premier League.
I think, look, what you got to understand is Richards himself has a bit of European experience, and obviously he comes from the Bayern setup.
Oh, yeah, came from Bayern. Yeah.
So, and also on top of that, you got to still iron out the concept that we're going to need squad depth because of the European element anyway. So there are going to be games where you're going to have to change players in the team regardless, and that could be any of the back three. It's just that I don't want to get caught up in the loving of any player just because they happen to be in form currently. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of banter because obviously Richards is we do have our own sort of America versus USA banter in our
we know
behind the scenes.
We know
But
where that goes.
in all fairness, I don't care who it is. Like, I just don't mind. Like, even if it's Gay himself, at the end of the day, if you're good enough, play.
And at the end of the day, that's a great problem to have.
And remember, as a result of that, is Richards could become a way better player as a result of that because he's got pressure.
Yep, absolutely.
You sink or swim, man. This is it.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get over these questions, man. Tim had the first one, says, need the reveal. What's the consensus in your chats about which European competition we'll be in? The thing is, Tim, there is no consensus. That's the funny thing. There is no consensus.
However, there is one individual who is not on taking who will not take Conference League. I will remain confidential until further notice, but there is one individual in our group who is not trying to have Conference League. And that individual might pull up to UEFA offices of himself and start protesting. That's what I'm going to say.
I don't care. His name is Louis. My man Louis said, I am not standing for anything else but Europa
Louis
League.
Standing on business. He's not having
my dog, my man Louis gonna be outside of UEFA's offices with picket lines, picket fit, everything. He is not playing. He was not, and I mean, I get it. I mean, the thing is, I completely understand, man. Like,
we earned it. Like, he's
what's
right.
Earned is earned, man. Earned is earned, and it's like the funny thing is, they're going through all of this stuff with Lyon, all of these litigations and relegations and all of these things. And we're just sitting here like, man, we ain't do nothing wrong. We just earned our spot. Why are we sitting here on pins and needles hoping that we can get something when we've done everything to earn it? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I think with that, I think the consensus is that we all want Europa. You know what I'm saying?
It's what we deserve, but reality of the situation is, remember, we've never had Europe before. So, you're almost grateful, but then you kind of sit there and you think to yourself, well, we did earn Europa League. So, and there's more money to be made there. So give us what we want, man.
You want it so bad. But you also understand that it's still going to be an unbelievable privilege. It's going to be an unbelievable experience for fans like AJ. Like he's still going to be able to make those midweek trips to whatever historic stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like that's unbelievable. You know what I'm saying?
Getting 2 blessings. I'm going Rome.
So then let's see. Oh, my man Al says, what's the most exciting thing to do in Iceland?
The supermarket or the country?
Bro,
you don't have Superman that suit Iceland and America, do you?
Nah. All I know about Iceland, the country, bro.
There's a supermarket in England.
Supermarket, okay. But I don't know what to do in Iceland, bro.
See the Northern Lights, maybe, or have one of those hot springs.
But apparently Iceland is the one that has a lot of greenery, and Greenland is the one that's just terrible looking, right? I think
it's either going to be hot springs or the Northern Lights, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Random question, but okay, that's all I can answer. Yeah. I don't really have much of a follow up to that.
And then the last one for Spiritual says, Dan Ndoye, does he really fit our system? Doesn't seem to be very technical. Well, we could have said the same thing about Ismail Assar coming in. I think that was the exact same knock on him coming in. It's like he's not technical. He's not a very good dribbler. He's just a straight ahead speed guy. How will he do in Glasner's system? So I don't know. I mean, I think it's more of a credit to your manager on how he's able to integrate guys and make sure that he's playing to guys' strengths and maximizing their capabilities and abilities.
Do you know what? I'm not that fussed about him. Do you know who I really want? Well, obviously, I know if Eze leaves, he's similar to Eze. I want Juve.
Mm-hmm.
I want Juve.
Well, Andy Juve is more of an 8 though. He's not more of an attacker.
I agree, but he's capable. But then I guess, yes, it depends on what happens with Eze. The problem is there's so many intricate things going on right now because it's like tomorrow is going to affect the transfer window, the budgets, And that can either go positive or, I guess, negative, if you will. It is... it's a very hard question to ask, to be fair. And I'll be honest, I'm not done the super research on my guy either, to be fair. I've seen a couple clips of him and I've Googled his stats.
I've watched a lot of Andy Juve. I watched a lot of Andy Juve because
Juve is where my stocks are at. Juve is where my stocks are at. That's the guy I want.
Yeah, he lacks pace to play like that 10 role because you're playing more out on the wing and doing a lot of wing defending. He's really honestly and truly a central midfielder. Like that is what he does. And he is a midfield engine, which is amazing when you watch the guy play. So he's I think he's more thinking about the guys that are on our team. He's similar to a Kamada. He's got that type of game. He's similar to that. He could play that more advanced role, but it's not necessarily going to be his greatest position.
I just feel like he's got a bit of a powerhouse vibe to him. I just feel like there's a player waiting to burst out.
And he does. And I think that powerhouse vibe, you can't exemplify it when he's having to play out wide and defend out wide.
Fair.
Yeah, but he is a damn good player. I stand by that. Andy Juve can play for real. So
I want Juve. Bring him.
Juve, the other Juve, not the.
No, forget that one. Forget that one. We got Sosa now. We got Sosa. Keep Sosa. We got it. We don't need my man.
Yeah, but that'll pretty much wrap it up, everybody. Shout out to everybody that tapped in with us today. Great show, great following. Appreciate everybody that was in the chat with the questions, with the comments. This is always so fun, man, getting to interact with you all and just talk shop and things. We'll be back soon as things develop, as more things come up, of course. We'll hop on here and talk about more things, Palace and all the things surrounding us. So look forward to it. Appreciate you all. And as always, with the Palace.